all over the place, but she seems to have gone back home to her roots in Boston. At 10:54, Edward F. Crawford is in the studio with me this morning. He's becoming a frequent visitor to the program. He'll be taking it over before I know it. Eddie, I wanted to ask you, what's the F? Is it Francis?
Yes, it is.
Edward Francis. There's no question about the guy that named you. He wanted you to be Irish, didn't he? And Saint.
Well, I am. That's clearly the fact.
And Saint Francis, you were.
Well, I don't know if it was St. Francis, but it was a Francis. I don't know exactly. I don't want to go that deep into it. But,
Okay, we won't do.
I do like the middle name.
Yeah. Congratulations on being selected as Mayo Person of the Year. It's I know you appreciate it. You've said it numerous times, but I think you seem to be enjoying it anyway so far.
Well, I'm very excited. I want to congratulate the Mayo Society and its leadership for taking an initiative to open up the Mayo Person of the Year, expand it, and for the first time include someone from another county. And I'm obviously particularly a little bit surprised that you picked a Cork man.
Well, I do like Cork people, you know.
Well, great.
I know a lot. I know a lot of them. And one of my favorite places, one of my favorite places in Ireland is Bantry Bay. And I travel to a little island in Bantry Bay called Garnish Island once in a while. It's a small island. And as you're on the way out to the island, you see Maureen O'Hara's residence, where she lived for many years after she moved back to Ireland. Now she's back in America again. But it's a beautiful little part of County Cork and Bantry Bay. So,
well, it's all Ireland's beautiful. I understand you'll be going up to Clifton, my favorite hangout out there in Northwest Ireland. That's.
I'll never forget the day I got a call from you. I called you, and then of course you hadn't called me back for 3 days, and I finally heard from you, and I says, "Where are you?" He says, "I'm looking out in the Atlantic Ocean right here in Galway, near Clifton." And then you said to me, you says, "God, this is heaven here."
Well, Quinn, you get an excellent memory.
I remember that well.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to ask you. You do a lot of traveling. You have business interests all over the world now. I think the only place you don't have a business interest is in Australia.
So far.
Do you? So far. You're working on it, aren't you?
I love Down Under. There's a lot of our people there, but it's a wonderful place. But it's pretty narrow from an industrial viewpoint. So,
well, having grown up here in Cleveland, how do you compare Cleveland with the other cities throughout the world? And you go to them all a lot. You travel everywhere.
Well, we have a number of operations, obviously in North America and Canada. Cleveland is particularly unique because I think we've addressed what I considered a major failure in the last 50 years. At the heart of, I think, its success and its future potential is the fact that we've been able now to begin to keep our children here. There was a period, if you look into the leadership in Cleveland, the young people, there's no one really, a lot of people committed and educated and grew up in Cleveland that stayed here. So there's kind of a vacuum between 55 and 65. But today, it's different. The families who grow up here, they get educated here, come back here, and that's the future. So we've gone over this hump. My son has virtually his whole group that he grew up around in Cleveland, and these people are here working. They're becoming lawyers and doctors and laborers, but they're all here, and they want to be here, and that means they want to be with their families. So that's a major correction. We were losing top young people to New York, Texas, Chicago, California, and they went out and they never came back.
I often wondered why. When I came here in 1961, the population of Cleveland, the greater Cleveland, was something around 800,000. And right now it's at 400, it's a little less than 400. And we noticed that even then, and I'm sure you did, because that's when you started your business in the early 60s.
Right.
And you had trouble retaining those people then, huh?
Well, again, I started my first business at 2720 East 79th Street in a pretty rough area. And a lot has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it starts with the feedstock of any organization, any company, any community. Even you know, it's the young people. You need them, and you have to make sure they're there.
WHK, Cleveland, a service of six.
Yeah, Cleveland, the changes that have occurred in the last 50 years. I came here 50, well, I even hate to think of how long it is. I don't even think of myself as that old, Eddie, sometimes.
That's exactly the way to think about it, Mr. Quinn. As we all like to have that.
Well, we're speaking about the how Cleveland has changed, and you would agree, though, it's on the move up now.
Oh, absolutely. It's you can't even get an apartment downtown Cleveland, so it's exciting. And just go downtown and watch all the young people walking around. And but again, this is the future, and we lost the future a couple times. But I think we're back, and and with young people comes that entrepreneurial spirit that you need. The creative spirit that that we can do something. You got to be young to sometimes be foolish. I didn't know what I was doing in 1962 when I started that company. I just thought it was a good idea and I had nothing else to do. But that's what you can do, and that's those decisions, and the energy comes, and you have to have a format for that, and Cleveland is a format now.
How do we keep it going?
Well, they'll keep it going. I mean, they'll have success, and there'll be more success. It's like a winning spirit. But this community was struggling for a very long time with lots of issues. It seems to have come together. Look at an example of being able to bring here in 2016 the RNC and the Republican convention. I mean, that's a big statement to go against Kansas City and Texas, and it doesn't seem like much of a win until you're here in 2016. It'll be 7 days. It's not one Super Bowl. It's 7 Super Bowl days. It's exciting, and this is what's great for the young people. They're excited about it. It's not politics. It's just an event.
Just a couple of weeks ago, the Wall Street Journal featured Cleveland in one of its lead articles on the great resurgence that has occurred here. And I think when you get papers like the Journal writing about it, something is really happening.
Well, it is, and of course, with like in our world, it has to be sustainable. So we have to keep making good, clear decisions as a community for the future. You can have a run up here and have a 5 or 6 year spin, and it's great. And then the atmosphere changes and they all go away. So we all have to work on, and the sports teams, Go Browns, the sports teams and all these are just part of it. Mm-hmm. It's an energy level. You can feel the buzz, and that's what young people and creative people and ambitious people want to be part of.
Well, wouldn't you say the bedrock of Cleveland years ago was the manufacturing industry? And I know you're into manufacturing. How important is it today, and how can we retain that manufacturing?
Well, it's more important than it was in the past. These are the jobs that serve a particular aspect and part of our community. We want to keep these jobs here. We want to be able to create more jobs. You could get me into a whole discussion about the tax base and everything else, but just ignoring all those handicaps put on manufacturing from regulation and taxes, it is something that we have to, reach out, create an atmosphere as leaders for other companies to come here and create jobs. And we're in dead competition against Chicago, Detroit, Kansas City, Atlanta, Georgia. It's competition. We have to win this battle for jobs.
I never could understand why Chicago, which is very similar as far as location goes, located on a lake, just like we are, climate is almost identical. Why did Chicago seem to succeed so much and Cleveland didn't? Now, we had the Rockefellers here years ago. Well, how do we lose all this?
Well, I don't think you lose it with one event. Rockefeller left because they decided to raise taxes on him. And he said, we're going to tax you because you're in Cleveland. Well, he didn't like that idea, and his friends and everyone at Standard Oil, they all decided to leave town. Okay, so but it's not one thing. It's a long series of mistakes. Again, it's leaderships, it's politics, it's leaderships. It is not easily won. And we had it, and we lost it, and we got it back a little bit, and we lost it big time. Now it's coming back. Now let's let's make sure we take advantage of it, and it needs everyone pulling in the same direction. And this winning of the convention is a big win for now everyone. The mayor, everyone, all the leadership, the labor, all pull together to create an atmosphere that they believed. I'm very involved with the RNC. I know the leadership there, and they were just absolutely mesmerized what Cleveland was once they got here and spent a couple of days, and then spent a couple more days and met the people and the leadership and the mayor and everyone involved. It changed. I mean, winning that is a win for Cleveland beyond anyone's comprehension relative to how competitive, and they have more money in Texas and Kansas City. So we didn't win it with the money. We won it because we had an exciting format for what they believe is going to be a very exciting
though,
election.
That those people in the RNC now, they're pretty informed people, well up on everything. How come they really had to come here to find that out? Couldn't they read the papers and know what was going on and the news cycles we have today?
Well, let's put it this way, Quinn. The RNC had never, ever, the leader of the RNC had never been in Cleveland until this process began. And I hosted him at a gathering, right at the pivotal point of the event. And he had never been here before. So when he came in and started to see Cleveland, and then he got interested and people got interested, they like it. They were motivated. And I'll tell you something, everyone, Terry Eggers, everyone was in this as strongly as they could be. Gilbert, all of them. And, so it's a win-win-win. We needed to be competitive. We were competitive. We won the outright. And believe me, we weren't even in an eye in their mind 6 months before that. You filled out the papers. But we won that in the final stretch. And I'm in Washington all the time, and I'm very proud of what we accomplished.
Well, it's quite a victory, no question about it. I want to come back and talk to you about your Irish heritage, going back a few years, back to the days of your grandfather in Cork, and your contact and your connections with Ireland today. First, here
1,500 people at this dinner,
They're my
all the
father's
RNC.
own
Right.
father's
But we've got their attention.
Yeah.
It really is, a lot of good things are going to happen. And I will, there's no question that this is going to be successful, not only successful, but it's going to be a highlight in the continued development. And you don't think the young people and everyone else don't like this idea? They don't care about the parties there. It's not excited. It's just 7 days at downtown. You won't be able to get in downtown.
No, right. Every hotel.
You have to walk in.
Right.
It'll be like a movie.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
good way to highlight the city, that's for sure, from people that have never been here before.
Right.
And that guy, with the head of the RNC, was never in Cleveland before?
No. He's got his name is Morales. Previs. He's a very unusual guy, but he's a real leader. And when he took over the RNC, it was totally broke. All the RNC, all the employees, all their credit cards were maxed out. They had zero. They were, and he is,
Wow.
you know,
Turn it around. That's
oh,
right.
really turned it
That's
around.
good.
He's
Yeah.
quite an amazing person.
Yeah. No,
He's got a lot. He's got a lot to say.
It's just going to roll a lot more things than once. And
Portman confirmed yesterday.
But God, I'm glad he did, because this is what your
we went to the
bowl is going to look like. It's going to have your name on it.
I got my red rust to go in it now.
Yes, yeah.
Those are the people that are making it.
Well, this is, you know, this thing is really about my, it's not so much my own words, it's really about what one person, you know, or what can happen in one generation in America, that it can't happen anyplace else.
Right.
You know, so that's the message.
So, Eddie, when I come back, I want to talk to you about Cork, you know, the grandfather, your grandfather, the family, Cork, the Healy's, and whoever else.
McCarthy's.
Whoever else.
Hennessy's.
Hennessy's. In fact, I had my cousin Jerry Hennessy, in Borby, you know, where Cecilia, which is the youngest of the initial 13, and then we went down to Newmarket, where my great grandfather was born, and that was a McCarthy-Healy combination. You know, so that goes down to the McCarthy line. You know, it's quite a,
And the Hennessy's did okay when they went to France.
no, they sure did it okay all the time.
No, the Hennessy's.
Hennessy whiskey.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you something, they're amazing.
They took the recipe with them too, didn't they?
Cognac, that's it. I'm ambidextrous, I'll drink anything.
Yeah.
So don't take it for granted. Say grandfather's emigrant line. So don't take it for granted. Say grandfather's emigrant line.
Hey, Connie, we better play a couple of commercials.
Okay. Village, they have open mic night on Mondays. That's 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Tuesdays is trivia night, 6:30, with half-priced appetizers after 9. Thursday is their service industry night, or SIN night. That's $1 domestics, $2 wells, and a DJ at 9 p.m. The Clatta Legacy Village, one of the best outdoor patios in the Cleveland area.
It's a little different than anywhere else, you know. And the fact that
Why is that though? The French have kind of made a mess of their economy through the years. Why is the American one? Is it a combination of all these nationalities, of the good things about the nationalities that have come together here? Why is it?
to create the commercial success,
Yeah.
I think it's there's no room in America to be average in business. Okay, you know, just like Rockefeller wasn't doing average. The competition is unbelievable. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to live the American dream. So the competition is really intense. You get in Germany and England and so forth, the competition isn't there as much because the families, they stay in the business for a long time. There's no one really trying to change much. You know, it's in America, you go into business, you could be in business, you could be successful for 6 months. Somebody come along right behind you and be competitive, knock you right out. So you can't survive in America because the competition is extremely tough. Think about this, and I think it's, it's easy for China to be successful. Why? Because the only thing they're doing is copying what we've done and that's, if they can copy for 20 years and there'll be a success for 20 years. They're just re-engineering or reverse engineering all of our products. They're becoming successful. How do you make our current lifestyle successful? How do you create businesses? How do you create jobs under these circumstances? It's a different game. It's not as though going out making bicycles. It's not going making, cars, but I mean, a lot of things aren't made anymore here. They've taken them. So where do you create the jobs? Where are the manufacturing jobs? Where are the jobs, period? It can't be all internet, it can't be all service jobs, it can't be all lawyers and doctors. It's really a frightening, so right in there, it's even more difficult to be powerful and successful today and start from scratch. So I think America we're better at it. Because competition is tougher, and you get better because you play against better players.
But even going back a couple hundred years, I often wonder why America succeeded if it is, because a lot of the people who came here from Europe, the people couldn't get jobs, and there were
what's a bigger motivation than that?
Yeah, I suppose that's part of that.
I mean,
they didn't have a lot of education.
Well, you don't have to have education. If you want to eat, you got to work. You'll do what you got to do, and then you figure that out.
We got the best of all nations, actually. That's what we did.
Well,
are the most ambitious.
Well, a lot come here because they
want
to come here.
We're all hungry.
That's right. It's pretty good. Pretty good motivation.
What I want to know, and what a lot of people want to know, how long are you talking? Are you talking for an hour or 3 hours?
Well, I'm going to hold back and, how about 5 minutes?
Oh, you can do better.
Well, I expect everyone in front of me to do better than that. So, but I just want to. I'm not the closer here. I'm just the instrument.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to have a few surprises for you that night.
It wouldn't surprise me, Quinn.
Yeah, that's right.
With you in charge, anything can happen.
That's right. You're going to be speaking on the business panel, and I think this is a great chance for students, for business people, anybody that wants to know about business, and who doesn't today. On the business panel, you're going to be representing publicly held companies. And it says Ed Crawford right here. What are you going to talk about that day? What do you think? Sean Hennessy is the moderator, so you're all going to, I imagine, get together beforehand and decide how exactly you're going to, or each one talk about a different subject.
Is everyone on this panel going to be Irish?
Let me see.
Or how many Irish?
Oh yeah, they all are.
Oh, this is a terrible thing we have here.
McCann, Crawford, Hennessy.
Oh yeah. Well, see, it lies the problem
Yeah.
of the speaking order. But if I always enjoy.
Sean is the moderator.
Yeah, I always enjoy an opportunity to talk about entrepreneurship, particularly. Hopefully, some young folks will come there. I lecture on entrepreneurship around the world, in places like China and of course in America, and Case and so forth, and John Carroll. But I like the concept of in being an entrepreneur requires the ability to handle rejection. And this is hopefully a subject that we can talk about, because it's clearly, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to face a lot of people saying no, 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 and it's what you do with that negative energy, and your ability to transform that into positive energy is an important part of being successful in any part of life.
So you would recommend young people, students, college students?
Well,
to come to this?
if you want to talk about being an entrepreneur and you want to get some ideas, you want to get some guidelines and tell you what how to fail and how to win. There's some basic aspects of being an entrepreneur, and again, that's just one. I don't know if everyone will be interested in that, but it's just a subject I happen to like because it's been positive as far as I'm concerned.
Why do you think it is that some people want to do that they want to go on, like you said, be an entrepreneur, and others want to work for somebody else forever? Why is that? Is that something, a quirk of nature, or I wouldn't say a quirk, I shouldn't say it that way.
In a way I can describe it, because I don't think anybody can really has their hands around it. It's like another gear. You got a gear in your head and you can't figure out why it's there, and it just drives you. And a lot of this can be your family, your surroundings, what happens when you're young. You can be driven by a lot of different reasons. So there's no real answer to this, but the final, let's not talk about how it doesn't start. Let me tell you how it finishes. And that I've got a better grasp on, because I've been around a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And I think in a lot of ways, maybe it's there when I was younger and I didn't understand it like I do today. But to be successful, you stop competing against other people. You start competing against yourself. And it's been a long time since I competed against someone else, in my mind about anything. I'm excited to be up every single day trying to do better than the day before. So I'm in competition with myself. I like the scoreboard. That's why a public company is a scoreboard, because your stock's in the paper. But this is about one-on-one with myself. And when somebody gets there, they're normally paid a lot of prices and everything else to be there, but they really understand that's what this is all about. So maybe when you're young, you don't understand that. But I've always been a competitor from day one, as far as I'm concerned, and maybe that's embedded in my
Well, going back to the first company you had, I remember you talking here about how you lost that company, and the second one. If you had started that, and 3 years later, supposing it had gone bust, would you have started again?
Yes.
You would have never given up.
Well, I would be saying never, but that's where the question. When you lose the first company, the question is, what does that do to your psyche? What does that do to your energy? What does that do to your conviction of who you are and what you can and what you thought you were going to be? Okay, you got to brush yourself off and start over and say, okay, fine, I learned something. Let's do this again. I'm going to be better at it. That's competing with yourself. That's not competing with someone else. Okay, and if you don't have that resolve, you can't win. Some people have to come to bat. Abraham Lincoln, how many times did he run for office? 4 or 5 times? This doesn't happen. This is, you've got to deal with yourself, with adversity, and especially in the commercial world, of course. But it's all about competing with yourself as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, you're going to hear more of that conversation if you go to the business panel, which takes place 1:45 to 4:15 on Friday afternoon at the Westin Hotel. County Mayo will be represented the publicly held company, which is at Crawford's Park, Ohio. Risk management will be represented by Ed McNamara from Aon Corporation, Irish manufacturer, and Tommy Griffith will be there. Also John McCann from Mace Corporation. A lot of people don't know that, but the mace that ladies carry around in their purses these days is made right here in Cleveland. John McCann, the president of that company, will be there. Also speaking on the healthcare panel will be Dr. Brian Griffin. He will be the moderator of it. And also Dr. Tom Graham from the Cleveland Clinic. And then Seamus Cavanaugh from Hollister Incorporated out of Chicago, which is a huge pharmaceutical company that have several plants in Ireland. And also, of course, on the education panel, we're going to hear from Dr. Jean Collerton, Dr. Deirdre McGeehan, who grew up in Belfast and graduated from Queen's University in Belfast. And they're all provosts, by the way. And Dr. Marcy Ballinger. Also, Dr. James Brown, the president of Galway University. He will also be speaking. Now on the tourism and travel, we're going to have Colleen Corrigan, our own Colleen, is going to be talking about tourism and travel in Ireland and here. And you have some great people on that panel with you.
I'm going to be the moderator of that panel, and we actually have some
Does that mean
international
you're not
guests.
going to be talking as much?
No, I'm the moderator of that panel. So, and I have some significant, outstanding. Colette Jones from Positively Cleveland. She'll be talking about all the great things coming up in Cleveland, and RNC being one of them, and what we're going to be doing to prepare for that. And then we also have Debbie Berry. Debbie Berry is a board member with the Cleveland Metro Parks, and our emerald necklace in this area, around here, we're comparing it to the Wild Atlantic Way and the Greenway over there in Ireland. But she's also a vice president over at University Circle Incorporated, one of the prime jewels in Cleveland. We're going to have the president of the new Nathan Distillery? Nathan, thank you, sorry. Nathan
did you know that?
Mountain Distillery, and making in County Mayo. So another business that just opened up in County Mayo. So that he'll be talking a little bit about that, how it's going to affect tourism. I know on my honeymoon, I went up to the Bushmills market. We made a stop there. And anyway, but
You didn't get drunk on the honeymoon,
no,
did you?
they give you a little baby taste, when you go through the thing. So,
Yeah,
but
worse than that, but more important, did Brian get drunk?
no, he was fine.
He had more than the baby taste, I'm sure.
But and then we also are going to have Representative Kenny Deary from our Ackle Island Development Corporation, and he's in the banking business in the travel and tourism area, and Terrence Dever with the nonprofit there. Did I say Dever? And
Yes, you did.
sorry. And then also someone from County Mayo. So we'll be talking just like all the panels, and the business panel, the health panel.
Colleen, I'm
Yes.
excited about the whiskey thing because it's
Yes.
the first, no, and I don't drink
Jerry
at all.
doesn't even drink.
It's the first new whiskey that has been is manufactured in Ireland in 100 years, because all of the distilleries and all the breweries have been bought out by Diageo, the French company.
Yeah.
So even Bushmills, Jameson, and what's the one in Cork where your family is?
Smithwick's?
No, the whiskey,
Paddy's.
Middleton.
Middleton.
Middleton, all those whiskeys, they're all foreign owned. So this is kind of unique that it's the first distillery started. So the guy will be here, and I hope he brings plenty of it with him.
Right.
I want to tell you about Sea Ireland in New Light is meeting you over the weekend. There's a lot of events going on, and we don't want to monopolize. We do want, I should say, monopolize your
Right.
time. I know we're not going to be 100% successful doing that, but we're going to try and get you to as many events as we can, but especially the big night at the Mayo Ball.
Well, anytime Quinn throws a party, everyone comes.
I hope they all show. They will.
Thank you very much.
They'll all be there. And again, congratulations. And there's a lot. You have quite a few Irish people working for you, I noticed. John Lally, an old friend of mine. I never knew he worked for you. He's been with you years, hasn't he?
Yeah, we've got a lot of wonderful people. He's over in the private side, so not the public company. He's in a different category. But we're very fortunate. We do have a lot of Irish people. They're very talented, and more importantly, there's a certain loyalty there that works for all of us. Let's put it that way.
That's great. We're looking forward to meeting them all on the Saturday night especially.
Yes.
And you got to meet
Terrence, oh yes,
one of Cleveland's.
I need another lawyer. An Irish one.
Is there anything else but?